Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lennon. How you guys doing? And welcome to a little bit of a smaller video for this week's update on Total War Pharaoh. So apparently I missed a Pharaoh death diary in the past few days, but it looks interesting. I only read like the description and they were talking a bit about mechanics and all that, this and that. So I was like, let's get straight into it. Let's see what it's going to be and let's see if it's anything interesting. So here we are again, as per usual. The video is only 5 minutes, so I am intrigued to see what they want to handle this video. Intro music is sick, by the way. And the artwork, I'm digging it. I keep getting more excited for this game.
Total War titles had a weather system in place. We're trying to improve that for Total War Pharaoh by including a dynamic weather change during battle. There are a few different types of weather. Rain.
I feel like the different weather styles is gonna be a kind of decent, good effect on the game, especially with like tactics and ranged capabilities with the chariots in the rain. Like, it's going to be very interesting to rework your tactics that way.
Fog, storm, thunderstorm, sandstorm, and sweltering weather. Different types will each have a different gameplay effect, and they won't only change the environment of the battle, they'll also change the terrain. For example, a rain or storm will create patches of mud on specific places on the battlefield, which the player will have to deal with. So introducing dynamic weather and dynamic terrain change will force players to adapt to the new battle conditions.
Like, that is something I really like, have to be changing your ways about the battle. So like with Warhammer 3, you had like very specific playstyles, so dwarves would just sit back, relax, and just kill everything that comes to them. Like maybe with this, like if you're in a sandstorm where your range capabilities suck, you might not be able to just hang back and shoot the enemy army. You have to change your tactics and adapt to it on the battlefield and actually go ahead and get the fight going, which is like a really interesting idea. And it's gonna get some grief here and there, but it's also gonna be very interesting to see how this changes certain battles and disaster battles and all that sort of jazz.
A good general must adapt their army and their strategy depending on the ever-evolving battlefield.
Fighting in the desert it's really hard. It's hot, it's arid, and that's why the Egyptians wore lighter armors. You will see in the game that units with lighter armors have an advantage over, let's say, a unit with a medium or heavy armor. Units with light armor have less penalties, traversing sand.
Seems kind of logical, actually. Yeah.
Whilst, let's say, a heavy unit would have a really tough time just going from point A to point B in sand. Another thing that could happen in a desert is a sandstorm could swoop in and just make everything even worse than it already is. So a sandstorm...
Oh, like, that looks really cool. Like, if they have the artwork, like, the individual units actually reacting as well to the sandstorm.
Everything even worse than it already is. Idea. So a sandstorm is a bad place to be generally, but a clever general can use it to their advantage. Let's say you want to hide your units away. You can flank in the sandstorm while the enemy's vision is lowered.
That is cool.
We can't make Bronze Age battles with Egyptians or Hittites without having chariots in them. The Egyptians tended to prefer lighter chariots, while the Hittites tended to prefer heavier chariots. The Egyptians mostly used them as skirmisher units, while the Hittites used them both as skirmishers or melee chariots, where they charged at the enemy, breaking their formations. We have a few...
So we don't have calf, but we have chariots. And as it looks like a shit ton of chariots, a large formation of chariots, it could be very interesting. Like, mostly skirmish, but I think you can still use them for back charges and just get rid of archers and that sort of stuff.
Different types of chariots, light, medium, and heavy chariots. And there's also two uses for them. They can be used as skirmishers or melee chariots with spears. We've tried to improve chariots by increasing their unit sizes and making them a bit more maneuverable.
Yeah, that is good, because like in previous games, chariots were always like iffy. So you probably never would pick them in a fight. Like, we're playing Rome 2 right now. There is something that I I do like chariots, but they're always so finicky and weird, and they always keep dying. So they needed some rebalancing, especially if this is going to be the main focus of the calf contingency in the game.
So that will help the player use them correctly.
This looks
but at the
awesome.
same time,
Get
we've increased
the chariots over the hill.
to chariots in different terrain types. Heavy chariots will bog down really quickly in mud or sand, making them easy targets for the enemy. Chariots will be extremely powerful, but mismanaging them or bringing wrong chariots to
That's gonna happen
the
quite a
specific
bit.
battlefield will have disastrous effects for your economy.
Ancient Legacy in Total War Pharaoh allows the player to follow in the footsteps of the greatest rulers that these two empires had, to do as they did and accomplish the awesome things that they did before them. The starting
Really
point
awesome.
that we wanted to create the ultimate sandbox, fitting for a game.
God damn it. I was just gonna say the pun, like sandbox, like they took it a little bit too literally with putting us in the middle of a fucking desert, but it was just
in
a
Egypt.
second earlier.
But we wanted to allow the player to play their way, because faction mechanics have this quality where once you pick a faction, some rules are set, some rules are defined, and we wanted to spice that up by making faction mechanics choosable. That allows for a lot.
Oh, you can choose your faction mechanics.
And we wanted
Okay, so these are different faction mechanics you can choose. Demonstrate your military savvy by taking city after city with ease. Send your caravans to distant lands and grow your wealth. So we have a military, you have economy. This is probably religious.
to spice that up by making faction mechanics choosable. That allows for a lot more variance.
So you can actually play the same faction like 4 times with different faction mechanics. Well, that is insane.
Playthroughs. We wanted
Yeah.
to focus not only on Egyptians, but on all of the different cultures in the Bronze Age world at the time. Yes, the game is called Total War Pharaoh, but the Hittite Empire in Anatolia has a very long history of them rising to power, at some point rivaling that of Egypt, and it was feasible that Hittites maybe could conquer Egypt at some point if
Oh, wow,
they attacked.
yeah.
And also the land connection between Anatolia and Egypt is the coastline of Canaan, where multiple Canaanite factions exist and they have their own culture. We have 2 playable Canaanite factions. Each of them can enter either empire, for example, and
That is cool. So you have the Egyptians versus the Hittites. And then the Canaanites are in the mid. So you can either choose to go after Egypt or after Canaan. Nay, Hittites, sorry.
enter the
Like, I'm really getting the idea that they are doing like the best that they can to give you a more diverse, not so linear experience that it is with like the few Total Wars that came before it.
world of
It's
Egypt.
like it's really interesting.
Rise in power there, and then experience ancient legacy as if they started in the heart of Egypt itself. We want to make mechanics that the player can start their campaign, they can start playing with their faction, and when they see how it's going, they can choose what very epic thing they want to do.
In Total War Pharaoh,
That is so
the
cool.
royal decrees are a feature that will be easy to recognize by any Total War player out there. These are the technologies. Royal decrees take a few turns to get unlocked once you selected them, and they provide you with various bonuses and various gameplay options. They might make your units stronger, they might improve your economy, they can make your buildings
Like,
cheaper or more quicker
straightforward.
to construct.
But I do have to say, like, it's straightforward. But if you look at this, like, it looks like it was really in depth. Like with Troy, you had like 3 different chunks, and I was like, okay, where do you want to go? Which do you want to specialize? Like over here, if you look to get to here, to get to this one, you get either like this, and then you have to go this way, and you have to go this way, and both this way to get there. Like, it's a really intriguing system. And if you just go this way, and you want to have this, and you have to go through here first. So you have to go all the way around to get over there. Like, it's a really in-depth, intriguing system on how they rework the royal decrees.
And also grant you additional slots for the gods that you want to worship
Oh,
in local
construction time.
deities.
Nice. And with that being said, it's done again. Like, it's like I said, it's a small video, it's a small update video, but I'm really digging the mechanics that they post in here. Like we've talked about the weather, really gonna be in depth, changing the gameplay you're gonna need to fight your battles and to win your battles. The choosing of your faction mechanics, that is gonna be epic. Like you can just, the replayability on that is just went up by like 2 to 5 times, depending on which legacy thing faction things you want to choose. So by the week, I'm getting more excited for this. So all the controversies out there, I think they're actually trying to do their best. And I feel like they lost a lot of the community at the beginning, at the release. So with these dev diaries and explanations, they are trying to get back the faith and the confidence of the community that they're actually doing something good. So I feel like I want to give that to them. I most definitely will see if we can play some Total War Pharaoh when the time comes in October. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on the video, comment down below if you have your own opinions, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you are interested in more Total War Pharaoh stuff, and definitely in more Total War Pharaoh gameplay when this game releases. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!